Hello. Looking through my folders and I come across a few pictures I take. I collect sort of older dictionaries, encyclopedias, but the word abracadabra, and when we usually think of it, it's more on the magical, abracadabra, pull a rabbit out of my hat type of thing. But I'll put some more links in the description, but just interesting. So abracadabra, many words and phrases relating to rituals, talismans, and pentacles have a symbolic meaning either in themselves or in the way they are used, which is expressed either phonetically or more frequently graphically. This word was in frequent use during the Middle Ages as a magical formula. It is derived from the Hebrew phrase abracadabra, meaning hurl your thunderbolt even unto death. It is usually inscribed inside a inverted triangle or was set out so that it formed a triangle. Thus, the Greek word also related to a brass axe, and some old of the Gnostics, and I'll show you that, and I'll put the links in the description. It is in reality one of the names of the sun god Mithras. Abracadabra, a charm. It is said that Abracadabra was the supreme deity of the Assyrians. Severus Sammonicus recommended the use of the word as a powerful antidote against ague, flux, and toothache. The word was to be written on the parchment and suspended around the neck by a linen thread in the form given below. Some connections also to the Lord's Prayer, but okay, so this is from the Encyclopedia 1881. Abracadabra or Abrasadabra, a magical word recommended by Serenus Simonicus, precept to the younger Gordian as a charm or amulet in curing ague and preventing other diseases. This is a really old text because they use F instead of S very often. Particular the fever called by the physicians Hermeticism. Okay, I don't know what. And anyway, so to have this effect, the word must be written on paper and repeated, omitting each time the last letter in the former, so that the whole may form a kind of inverted cone, as in the margin, or in which there is this property, in which way forever the letters must be taken, beginning from the apex and ascending from the left to the right, they make the same word, or as some would have it, the same sentiment. It is found in the first whole line. The paper must be suspended around the neck by a linen thread, according to Julianus Africanus. Another ancient writer, the pronouncing of a word in the same manner will do as well. Abracadabra is said to have been the name of a god worshipped by the Tyrrhenians, so that wearing his name was a kind of invocation of his aid, a practice not for a practice not more superstitious than that of some Christians who bear various things about them in expectation of their operating by sympathy. And always freezing. This is from the Columbia University Encyclopedia 1950. Abracadabra, magical formula used by the Gnostics of the 2nd century to invoke the aid of benevolent spirits to ward off disease and affliction. It is supposed to be derived from or similar in the origin of abraxas, which sometimes the S and the X anyway, a word highly significant of the supreme power, which was engraved on gems or amulets, or was variously worn as a protective charm. Handed down through the Middle Ages, abracadabra gradually lost its occult significance, and its meaning was extended to cover any hocus pocus a charm was set down. And there we see examples there. This is from the 6th or 7th century, but abracadabra again, sort of, so was still used in there's some other. Okay, I'll put some links and I'll show you a few other. Okay, that one I'll show. Okay, in Harry Potter, Avada Kedavra was the death spell. I don't think this is an ancient jewel on itself, but it's based on this ancient principle. And there we see similar thing again with these winged forms, but got a moth over here instead of a scarab. You can pause that if you want to have a look through that one. because there are links to the 7 heavenly bodies, Thoth, Hermes, and others. It's also like in Hebrew, I will create as I will speak is one form of it. Okay, now, so I'll put, again, these links will be in a description. So back to the Roman Caracalla. Now, Caracalla's baths in Rome were 108 feet high, and it mentions this ancient medical text. Now, I'll use medical text in liberal sense. It's unlikely that Simonicus come up with this word and Abraxas, but in Greek numerology or gematria or isopsophy adds up to 365, as in 365 days in a year. We'll look at that again. Alternatively, the word might be derived from the Hebrew words for Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, as in the Lord's Prayer, and Aramaic phrase Abracadabra. Harry Potter fans will know this. J.K. Rowling used it when she came up with the killing curse, Avada Kedavra. In an interview, she stated the original phrase meant "let the thing be destroyed," which would suit the cure theory well, as in kill the disease, I suppose, and destroy the sickness. Now, again, I'm just doing this on the fly, and so I don't like Wikipedia, but I'll put these links in the description, because from here we get to the Gnostics, and so we have Abraxas and the magic papyri, which will connect, so the Greek magic papyri, and that will connect to the Mithraic stories, and the 7 letters spelling its name may represent each of the classic 7 planets. But there is, again, so if you go through, I'll put this in the description, because in the isopsophy, which gematria is 365, adds up to in ancient Greek, but there's also these other 365 heavens, and we'll be connecting to Egyptian, so Thoth, Hermes, Ra, and some other ones. And so these are Abraxas stones. Again, I'll put these links in the description anyway. And so we have a few. Okay, nice connection. Well, to 365 there are multiple. Okay, so for instance, these men moreover practice magic and use images, incantations, invocations, and every other kind of curious art, coining also certain names as if they were of angels. They proclaim some of these belong to the first, and others to the second heaven, and then they strive to set forth the names, principles, and angels and powers of the 365 imagined heavens. And also, well, it sort of crosses over, but the magic papyri, and also sort of in Greek, and again, I'll put this in the description, connections to Hermes and Thoth as well, and also the Pythagorean school. So the Greek magical papyri, the Mithras liturgy. Again, this will be in there, and again, if you're interested, it's might be a place to have a look into, and and also the Mithras, so the Mithraic schools and the importance of Mithras. So Constantine, Sol Invictus, and Mithraic schools, and how important. So you had the early Christians, and then the Romans Christianized it, and they Christianized it by basically taking Christian and infusing that into the existing practices and of the time. For instance, Gregorian chants, they're pre-Christian Roman, and it's just sort of been inherited into there. It's also worth noting Psyche, and in other readings Tyche as well. So Psyche, the soul, often as a Greco-Roman god, depicted as a butterfly. And yeah, anyway, I'll put this all in the description. Mithras, Gnostics, Neoplatonic and Platonic schools, Thoth, Hermes, and these other gods. And anyway, just a quick one, Abracadabra. So you can pause, and these are from old dictionaries. And yep, anyway, Abracadabra, I suppose, and have a good one.